Patch 7.4 is just around the corner on the 16th of December. 2 pieces of field content are being updated this time around, both the Cosmic Exploration for crafters and gatherers, as well as the combat-related Occult Crescent South Horn. We're not getting a new zone in Occult Crescent until 7.5 series, but in 7.4 we are getting updates to the South Horn itself. The biggest one is probably the next stage of your relic weapon for combat roles, the Phantom Weapons. This updates your Phantom Weapon to item level 775 as of 7.4. They do say that the items required for this weapon enhancement can be obtained from various duties, including the Occult Crescent. As to what this means and any other details, we don't know. It is highly likely they will do this for the first weapon that you do, and then subsequent weapons will likely be tomes. That does seem to be the way that relic weapons are going this way forward. I personally find tomes boring to farm for, but I suppose whatever you put in its place, it's going to be repetitive anyway. But of course, we will have to wait and see how this pans out, and hopefully the activities are enjoyable. Additionally to that Phantom Weapon update, there are obviously updates to the Occult Crescent South Horn itself. There are 3 new Phantom jobs added for you to choose. Obviously, how you obtain these is going to be anyone's guess. It could be from the vendor with silver or gold coins, or this could be from a critical engagement, who knows at this point. The 3 new Phantom jobs are Mystic Knight, Dancer, and Gladiator. Gladiator is fairly self-explanatory, and so is Dancer in terms of buffs and debuffs, but Mystic Knight you might not have heard of unless you've played Final Fantasy V or other games like it. Essentially, a Mystic Knight is another way of saying sorcerer. You hit people with that weapon, but you can cast spells into the weapon to then do elemental attacks through the weapon. That's how Mystic Knight works. So effectively you might have like Thundaga, for example, and put that through a one-handed sword and then hit somebody in the face with that sword, and it will do the melee damage plus the thunder damage. Essentially, that's the long and short of Mystic Knight. I'm sure there are lots of other cool things that they will give it as well, but those are the 3 that are coming in patch 7.4 series. Additionally, there are also going to be some new accessories that you can obtain through the Occult Crescent. So if you think back to Eureka, we got things like the Strider boots, we got Cassie's earring, things like that, right? So I can presume that these items will give you benefits to the Phantom job, sort of ability power, that kind of thing. It does say there are 4 pieces of Disciple of War and 4 pieces of Disciple of Magic accessories each. And it says that character attributes are increased while exploring the Occult Crescent. These are obtained rarely from critical encounters, treasure chests, magic pots, and happy bunnies. So basically just doing any of the content, you might get lucky and get one of these accessories. Presumably there will be not only, you know, beneficial stats for a magic user or a war user, but also towards Phantom job power as well. It would not surprise me if this is a way of basically shoring up the difficulty of things like Fork Tower, where effectively if you had these accessories, you would be basically giving you a much easier time in Fork Tower. They are talking about in 7.5 making it so that the next Fork Tower raid instance will have multiple difficulty modes, so perhaps they're looking at the old one currently and trying to find ways to make it more accessible and potentially have other options for making it easier, and I'm sure things that increase your stats will do just that, but we'll have to wait and see just exactly how much of a stat increase and benefit those accessories are. Aside from that, then, we got news that we're going to a new planet. This one is called Aussies. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm going to call it Aussies, after Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace. And it looks pretty cool, actually. It's a dual ring planet. So you've got 2 big Saturn-esque rings of rocks floating around in orbit. And it looks like gravity has been a real thing here. It does appear that there has been some kind of gravitational mishap, some kind of calamity due to gravity, because the first picture we see is of the base area, but you'll see that there are rocks that are perpetually floating that have not come down. So there's probably something etherically unbalanced about this place. They did actually mention that this is somewhere that used to have life during the live letter. That's what the translation basically equated to. And if we look at the next picture, we've got ourselves floating flora there in the sky, floating little plant life. but there was supposed to be a race of people that lived here that are no longer here. So it'll be interesting to see what backstory they put into that. So far, one of my biggest criticisms with cosmic exploration is going to these places feels quite hollow when you get there, because there's, nothing really to catalog. It's just more rocks and resources, and the storyline is centered mostly about your exploration and building on a base rather than what the planet is and where it came from, etc. So I do like the idea of there being some extra storyline. They do say that there are additions and adjustments basically to the cosmic exploration. Firstly, they've got the further enhancements to your cosmic tools, so much like your relic weapons. Your relic tools are going up to item level 765. They also appear to have this pretty cool looking sort of pattern here, grid pattern with stars on them, which is pretty cool. I like the purple glow as well. I do want to collect those. I want to see what the fishing rod looks like. I bet that looks amazing. And then additionally, we've got new rewards. Some are available for exchange via Cosmo credits. There are obviously some from Cosmic Fortune minigame prices as well, which likely means new mounts, new glamour, that kind of thing. In fact, they show some of that off. There is also EX Plus, new tokens obtained from those missions, which you can use in exchange, so similar to the Cosmo board. Apparently they want to do more things like that, so we'll have to see if all EX Plus missions count towards the same currency, or if it is something specific to each world. That will be interesting to tell. They're also going for a new type of bonus for a sequential mission completion. It remains to be seen what exactly that bonus will provide, but I'm excited to see what, if anything, they give in terms of a reward. But the biggest thing for me for this is ruin exploration. I was talking before how I was kind of feeling a little bit like this content was hollow, and it would be nice to explore somewhere that has a lost civilization. Well, it turns out that ruin exploration is exactly that. This is allowing you to uncover ancient records pertaining to the planet's past and have them appraised to obtain a range of items. They also show the items here, so we've got, presumably some stuff might be from Cosmic Fortune, but we've got a big sort of Tomlith face mount, which is pretty awesome, and we've also got a spacesuit that has gaps in it that looks more like something you would use as a deep diver or something in an ocean, maybe. I don't know. But those are two of many rewards, presumably, that we're going to be seeing. Hopefully it helps fill the void that I'm explaining that content is left me with. Yes, there are crafting and gathering things to do, and there is a bit of a storyline, but it still feels a little bit disjointed. It feels like the place itself is quite empty, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do to alleviate that, and if it's to add a new form of content that crafters and gatherers specifically can do. We'll have to see what this ruin exploration is like. Is it actually a duty based system? I can't wait. My head is filled with lots of ideas already, but we'll have to wait and see what exactly they do for that. It could be something that I praise immensely after the fact, or it could be something that falls short. We'll have to wait and see. But at the end of the day, anything is better than nothing when it comes to adding some context and some story and some backstory to these places we are visiting amongst the cosmos. Because otherwise, there's not really much point, is there? You build a base, then what? You just build another base? I want to know about the places that we go to, what these places are, what happened to them, the history of them, and it looks like we're getting rewarded for doing so. But those are basically the updates that we have at the moment scheduled for 7.4. As we've said before, during the 86th live letter, we got this slide that was showcasing how many planetoids or moons or stars we're visiting, whatever terminology you want to go for, and it looks like yes, we are going to yet another one in the 7.5 series. It's going to be interesting to see if they can fit quality into all of these. I do think that these have been enjoyable, but I am personally scratching at the door hoping that we get some more quality of the activities that we can do on these places and give us something new in terms of a playstyle other than just gathering and crafting and doing effectively leave quests, right? I am excited to see what they're going to do with ruin exploration, and hopefully they can fit that in, because we've got another planet, the final planet, the fourth one in 7.5, so it really remains to be seen if they can match the quantity of content that they're putting out with quality, because at the moment I feel that balance is not exactly level. I think that the quantity is much higher than the quality of the content being provided for cosmic exploration, and it has such a great concept. It just basically needs more things to do that enrich the content and give you backstory, involve other players. So we'll have to wait and see how Ruin Exploration works, and if it scratches that itch or not. And to just finish this off, we have obviously got this slide as well from the H6 live letter, just as a reference. 7.5X series will give you your new area as well as some new phantom jobs as well. So whilst in 7.4 we're getting those 3, there are going to be at least a couple more in 7.5 as well as a new area, as well as a new fort tower. So there's a lot cooking for these last couple of patches of this expansion. It's going to be probably a very long time between the patches, as we are probably looking for a 2027 release of the expansion, likely, right? But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how things go. But I'm personally excited for 7.4 for many reasons, including the glamour updates. But just as a reminder, there are other things to get excited for as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.